Hello, everybody. Welcome. We are here for a community meetup with Bogdan from Romania and Liliana from Belgium. Our main speaker is Bogdan, and he will tell us about Ask 3 Before Me, which is a very, very interesting topic about Agile learning.
Well, Bogdan, it would be super nice to hear how you start the Agile learning with Ask 3 Before Me.
Yeah, thank you very much for the invitation. Thank you for having me for this meeting. I'm sharing this one mainly with the teachers, with the educators, and also with the people that are working in a training departments. My main agenda that was something that I was preparing for you today. It's related to intrinsic motivation. That's the first part, where we are looking at the agile learning process. Also, we're looking to a project of agile education in Mainz, and also I will be able to share my experience with agile learning centers in my city. And also, if you have questions, you can interrupt me. But also, we have a final question that we can actually you can put it on the way. Before I start, I just want to start with one of the main lessons that I learned within. At this moment I'm a teacher. For the last 10 years, I was working as a business teacher. Previously, I worked in marketing. My last position was marketing manager for a publishing house here in Romania. I also work in hospitality industry. My last position was cluster sales coordinator for for Holiday in London. I will start with the intrinsic motivation, and I like to yes.
Already, I actually have a question, if you don't mind.
Please.
Yes. Yeah. Where did you, like in those jobs that you had, because you have the head of the teacher, but then also other jobs. Mm-hmm. I wonder if you learn about Agile or Scrum in any of those jobs.
My main contact I have with Scrum was while I was a teacher, because in the last 10 years I was searching for ways to improve my relationship with with the students. Mainly, I was having the chance to do a training with eduScrum last year, and that was the moment I was meeting the framework from eduScrum.
Yeah, okay, that's nice. And then you also made the link with the Agile Learning Centers, or that was later?
The link with the Agile Learning Centers was happening later. The moment I was really keen to put in practice the things, and also I had the chance to visit also amazing school in Mainz, Gymnasium Mainz, where I had the chance to see actually how agile education it's working. It's implemented. I can share with you some pictures if you want to on this one.
Yes, that would be great.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
And this is a loft in Mainz. All the kids are coming up in the loft for the first 30 minutes, and also at the end of the day. And as you can see, there is also lots of principles of Agile here. You'll be able to see the transparency. The students, they are organizing their day in the morning, and also they evaluate what they actually did at the end of the process, which is actually impressive. Starting, this is like year 5 students. After these 30 minutes, they can decide to go to the classes, which is called marketplaces, or they can continue to work to reach their competency within the school. Another amazing things that they were able to do, Also, they organizing the spaces based on. I'll share you another slide with you. Rosenbosch, who is a designer, she is designing schools in Europe mainly, and she was finding like 5 principles. I'm going to share with you 4 of them, and the way that actually they organize the space, this is also an agile way, giving us the chance for the students to find their own places within the educational framework. And the first framework is this student office, the one that you saw earlier. Is called Cave, and also, Liana, for your own experience, sometimes we are most efficiently when we're working by ourselves in our own space, but we can actually learn everything only if we are learning by ourselves. The second level is called Mountain. This is very close to traditional education, but it's still happening also in conferences when someone is staying in front and it's speaking to the others, sharing the information. The next one is Campfire. This is the third way to actually making the people to work together, and this in our case, you have the students, and creating a space for them to be together, to learn one from the other. And the last one is the hands-on, and this is the other way we're actually learning just by practicing things uh, in our day-to-day life, also in a business or in a education framework, let's say. And this is creating a huge impact within the educational process, and also the agile education, because it's giving the chance for the student to choose where they want to be at any point, but at the same time they have to achieve their goal. And that's an example of agile process. And also we have within the process we have eduScrum, and you are familiar with eduScrum. I saw also in this school they are actually using eduScrum on Wednesday. They have this teamwork. They are working actually together to put the things to achieve their objectives. Yeah.
And in this framework, when you mention, for example, the market space,
Yeah.
that seems to me like a space for peer-to-peer learning, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And like, for example, there is a difference between the Agile Learning Centers and eduScrum in the sense of how the learning is, let's say, proposed or by the young people or by the facilitators. So I wonder if in that space you are using it, like, for example, the Kanban of offering and requests and the set the week, or if you are using more project-based learning in that context, and how the students are actually sharing their learning processes one to another.
Mm-hmm. I think first we have to make the distinction between the processes, what would be like the traditional processes, and also what means eduScrum, and also what is agile learning placed. And let me share with you one of the the scheme. This is coming out from Greg Mullen, who is actually a consultant also working with the schools in the United States. And he was able to create this framework, is giving us more visual for us. And you'll be able to see that traditional schooling is at the top, where the teacher is leading the process. And it's also in groups, and people, they are evolving from one stage to the other in groups. eduScrum, you'll be able to see here, still in the first quarter, is giving up more autonomy within the process, but still the teacher are deciding what is the main criteria of success, and also they're deciding the stories behind the agile learning process. And agile learning centers is coming more where also the tea house, the experiment that was running, it's coming up, it's student led, because it's giving up the chance for the students to actually take their decide what they want to study. And we have in Europe, we have Agora schools in Holland, and they are using agile education also. But as you ask, the agile learning centers, they are more student led, and the teachers, they are actually the role of the teacher is changed. We are becoming more facilitators. In this process, we are actually creating the context for them to find their own solutions. That's why it's us three before me, because you are not answering. You are not, as a facilitator, you are not the main resource. Your main resource is your colleagues, and if you don't find the answers within your team, you can actually turn to the facilitators to find a solution. But you still have to find your own answers within the teams first before you will refer to the teacher. I don't know if I answered your question, but
Yes, yes, you did. I mean, in a way.
in a way.
I mean, yeah, in a way, like the answer that I receive is basically that the difference between like what you are doing in that
Mm-hmm.
environment is more
Mm-hmm.
self-directed and more in the side of collectives, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like more on the side of collective.
Yeah.
Um, and then, for example, I would think that the Agile Learning Centers would be maybe more in the part of individually driven approach, in the sense of I offer something or I request something that I want to
Mm-hmm.
learn, and then that is basically what is really happening in the environment. While it's community driven, I suppose that you are also working, that you can work also from things that are like more uh, collective work,
Mm-hmm.
and that is more, for example, project-based learning like Agora, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that correct? Like you are working more with project-based learning in that type of school?
I can actually share what I'm actually doing, but first let me share with you why I actually started this project in my community. I wanted to unglue my daughter from the screens, and I wanted to create another context for her to interact with the student with the other kids from the community. And it's a matter, you can go to for the work to work individually or to work as a team. But I choose to go with the community. And the first session actually I created, I can share with you a picture. The first session we actually created, I was mainly, the main focus was to bring them together. We always starting up um, the day with a circle. We are discussing about how we're feeling. We are sharing the things for like 5-10 minutes. We're discussing about team effort, and then we are going to see what's we're going to the agile learning process. We're going to PDCA process. We go planning, doing, checking, and action. And we are using this agile learning process for them to be able uh, to improve the things that they are building in a fun way, which is a really fun way. And here they were making a fragile, making a building from fragile objects. And the first one was like 0.70, actually 0.7 uh, meters, and then they're trying to make a bigger one, but they actually failed. They failed to actually building, but they actually learned what was the reason behind, and that's more valuable for them as students, as agile learners. And this the first session was mainly to emphasize the teamwork, because each one of them is supposed to do something within the process. I don't have a video to share with you, but if I share with you the video, you'll be able to see all the hands together making the building, which is very, very impressive. And starting from this moment, once they understand the value of team, we move to more, how to say, they actually choose what they want to do next, and they want to do some paintings. And we invited the art teacher to be a facilitator for the process, and the students wanted to create a tree, and each one of them, they are making a contribution in the process. But it's a learning process, which it's also for them and also for me. I don't know if you're able to see in the picture, we have like a black area where the picture is made. I realized that, for example, students, they have different energies. One of them, they are very energetic, and the other ones, they have like a lower energy. They are able to focus for a longer period of time. And in this process, I understood what the teachers in in the minds they are doing, uh, because also I created a space for low energy and high energy. Not all the students are able to focus for a long period of time, and I give them the chance to move to the white area where they actually be able to express their express themselves in terms of doing some gymnastics where they're playing something in the same time. Mainly because also we are in a Aikido room, which was we were using for these activities.
That's very inspiring. And I love that actually you're starting with the connection also with art. And well, as the second point, and the first point is to understand the team value. So I really see it's more in the collective side. And so, what I suppose that you do here, Bogdan, is that so after they see the value of the group, they start to create art as individual art or collective art. That how do you do that process, or it depends on the arts facilitator that you have?
They are the students. They are deciding what they want to do. My purpose was for them to actually to work together, and um, and that was emphasizing from the beginning that the activity that we are planning to do supposed to be like in a teams, because this is one of the skills that they need to work. And I can share with you another there actually are two sessions. We started one of the sessions in a round, and I give them some Dixit cards, and they supposed to choose from their Dixit card. Do you know the Dixit cards? Yeah, Liana?
Yeah, it's a great game. Yes.
Yeah, okay, perfect. And these Dixit cards, they choose the cards that is more close to what they are feeling at that moment. And based on these cards, they created a story. And from this story, they created a play. One of the girls, the one in the middle at the top, is less than 11 years old. In a pencil, she created, in 1 week, she created a play. I didn't push in any other direction. She actually created. And more than this, the kids, they were working together. They also coming up with props. They are bringing costumes to the place by themselves. And this is the next level actually, because the things that are not actually happening only in the agile learning centers, they are moving up to the community, because they are actually coming up together, and they are doing the activities together. And also we are following the same cycle with a PDCA cycle: planning, doing, checking, and action. And if the first round took us like four or five videos to create actually the first play, the second round they just moving very smoothly, because they understood the importance of working in teams and listening one to the other.
I normally haven't seen in the Agile Learning Centers like the start with an art project. That, immediately I was getting ideas, Bogdan, about next projects and so on. So it looks very, very nice. I have another question. It's this related to, it's in a school that is working towards educational goals. Is it specifically in one, because eduScrum works more with more conventional schools, let's say, and then specifically for the educational goals. Well, in the Agile Learning Centers, it's a little bit more loose, and it can be that you are not necessarily working for a specific educational goal given by the government. So so kids are learning, of course, but it can be that they want to learn Japanese and not I don't know, French, for example, and then Japanese is not one of the main goals, educational goals in Belgium, for example. So I wonder if you are doing it in a for educational goals, targeting educational goals, or more in like free programs, like after school program or so on.
It's mainly a free program, and it's a matter of what the students want to work on, and it's I keep it like this because I was running that from February up to June. We having a break this time period. I didn't decide what would happen from September because this is happening every Saturday, and it's very challenging for me to keep up every Saturdays to take it out from the family. But I keep this one mainly as they are choosing what they want to do, and this is also a challenge because what Gymnasium Mama is doing, they are linking that to the syllabus, which is actually amazing. This is spot on. On the other side, Agile Learning Centers, they are not. Yes, it's more welcome, but still in Romania, maybe also in Europe, they are seeing more as a play. You know, they are seeing more as a. This is also what it is for me. It's a play, but it's a serious play because in this, actually they are preparing them for life. The parents, they are still looking for numbers. They are still looking for diplomas, and in real life, actually, we need a different type of skills, and the ability to work in teams, the ability to listen to other people's opinions, to respect other people's, to be able to support your idea, to fight for your ideas without being afraid to do this one, be able to listen when someone is in your team, it's having a different opinion, is something more valuable than the grades, the diplomas they're actually taking within the normal educational system. It's a serious work, Agile Learning Centers, but in the same time, it's very hard to, even in the community, and also from Agora schools, there are some parents that they are reluctant to this one. But coming back, for example, to the example in Mainz, in Mainz, they started with year 5. They were around 114 students, but 13% of the students, they have neurodivergent issues. And the definition of this one could be autism, ADHD, dyslexia, dyspraxia. And we see in the educational process more and more students having this issue. And I see it also from one year to the other, the students are becoming more needy, and it's very hard to accommodate in the traditional framework to accommodate all type of all students. And the purpose is supposed to be to integrate each one of them, and because each one of them, they have a contribution. That's why teamwork is critical within the process, because the traditional system is pushing up the people that are learning in a different way. They don't have actually the chances to reach their maximum potential.
Yeah, this is actually why I joined the Agile Learning Centers in the first place. Yes. So my experience with neurodivergency is, that's basically the conventional school system is well designed for people who can follow that type of education, right? But it's more like the average type of person, not in the bad sense, but more in the sense of being cognitive, educate, like cognitive, like in a way with a cognition that can allow you to follow teachers, can allow you to follow instructions in a specific way, and that you can even understand those instructions in the way that the teacher actually wants you to do. But when we are talking about neurodivergent people, is the understanding even of a question or a request from a teacher just comes to that mind in a totally different way. So it's so basically it was actually out of that interest of mine of seeing how other types of education could help, could be of support for people who are neurodivergent, but also, for example, for kids with who had a very high IQ, who need actually a different type of education, but it doesn't really exist, right? I mean, all the students are following more or less the same. There is little differentiation actually in the classes, not because the teachers don't want to do it. It's just, it's difficult for them. I mean, I put myself in the place of the teachers, and it's like if you have 24 kids and already you have 5 who are neurodivergent, and you have maybe 1 or 2 gifted, that's it. You cannot give attention to 24 kids. It's just very, very difficult. So then, and that is what our conventional school system actually fails into, in the fact that the diversity that we have in our population more and more, it's really not well captured, and in the sense that it can be, people can, yes, of course, can go to school, but they cannot really develop themselves very well. And that is perfectly what you are saying. I mean, that's that the goal is, it's to of this type of education is to have more variation in a way that more people actually can achieve and their fulfillment, their maximum capacity, and also with a good well-being, with good mental health and so on. So yeah. Anyway, this slide of yours touched me, because that is why I find eduScrum or Agile learning approach so important.
Yeah, it's also what I want to add to you, because they're discovering very recently this one. David Thornburg was a visionary in terms of education, and also he was looking also at diversity of education, and our reaction to challenges that we actually have, especially in education, is based on our skills. And Noam Chomsky, the process of flow, you're aware about this one, that we're reaching a flow the moment we are focused on something, we are all in, and that's mainly the intrinsic motivation. And if the challenge is too high, we actually tend to lose the students. If the challenge is too low, we actually, the people, they are doing once or twice, but they are becoming bored. The challenge that we are actually facing, and what David was saying, is that we have to find a way to put the kids in a flow. But to put a person in a flow, it's easier than actually putting 20 or 30 people in a flow, and that's a big challenge for us to do. That's why working in teams and being able to find resources, being able to have a two-way communication, give the opportunity for students to find the flow. And there is also another solution here that I was also encountering. This is also the scaffolding. There are lots of programs that they are very incremental, and the students, they can actually work to their levels, and that's mainly the academical side. Actually, we have 2 sides: working on academics step by step, or actually working in teams where you'll be able to find your strong points and weak points, let's say, and be able to complement each other as a team and stimulate each other as a team to reach the flow.
Yeah, that's super well defined. And by the way, Bogdan, I wish that after this recording, this interview meetup thing, that you share actually those references with us, because that can be interesting to share also with the people, maybe an article or something. It would be interesting. Yeah. I didn't know this one. Of course, I understand from the intrinsic motivation that if you are intrinsically motivated to do something, then if you lose your flow, it has to be because of a reason. And this actually gives, in a way, the reason why you can actually lose that flow. So it's a very interesting slide.
Yeah. And also there is another challenge that also the directors, also the school in mind, that is solving out. It's how much freedom you're actually giving to the students, because it can actually happen to. It's also happening also in traditional system where you actually implement devices, and we have the devices and it's complete freedom how they are using it, when they are using it. They actually, instead of helping you within the teaching, it actually is becoming a barrier. And in minds, they find the correlation between the responsibility and the freedom. Actually, let me share with you this one. They identify four levels of responsibilities, and if you are responsible, you have more freedom within the school. And this can be related to devices, if you are able to use or not devices for how long. Can be related to breaks, when you can go to breaks at certain moment, or you can have a bigger break, or you can have things. And they didn't reach this level, but they are actually thinking about if students, they finish their work for the week that they actually planned, they can go home. What they supposed to be in a school if they finish their activities. The process they find in mind, it's amazing. Also because also following the agile process, uh, the teachers are seeing the students at the end of the week, and they are discussing about what they achieve in that week, what they are planning for the next week, and they're also checking to see if there is any barriers that are actually encountered, or things that can actually make their life easier to achieve their objective, to reach their competencies for the next period of time. But the challenges is still there. From academic point of view, not all of the students are at the top, and if you are comparing with another school, academically maybe they are a bit lower. But in terms of the life skills, in terms of working in teams, sharing, listening, being able to solve problems, they are much above the traditional schools.
I agree with you. I'm using a hand signal. I don't know if you use it also in eduScrum, but in Agile Learning Center we do. Yeah, I really agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is a design. So you design the levels of freedom and responsibility, or that is co-designed with the students?
I don't have this information, but you for sure be able to check with them. They have the next gathering will be in November. Also, the Scrum community is joining on November in Mainz. It's open. It's also under Erasmus program, and I'm sure if you want to join, you'll be able to join to see the schools and actually what they are doing. We had the chance to see them also in Bucharest. They came to my school, to the high school. They coming up to see us for 2 days, and also they're sharing information. It's a two-way communication, and this is what it's very very common within the agile communities. We are sharing information because we are all moving in the same direction. We want to make the kids to be smarter, to be more agile within the process.
Well, so it's a call to action to share, please, this information with us, and we will also spread it. And if there is an Erasmus mobility action, we can also spread it in our newsletter, Bogdan. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
What else do you have to tell us? I mean, I'm curious about in a way, I know that you have been in two different. So you have on one hand your project, your ALC, and then on the other hand that is more an after school program, right?
Yeah. It's a Saturday. Yeah.
It's on Saturdays, yes. So we can actually maybe have a look if you have a website or so on, and we can also share it in the message after this recording, or we can put it as a subtitle here in the chat. Yeah, in the subtitle for the recording. So on one hand, you have that activity on Saturday, and on the other hand, you have your the teaching commitments, right? How much do you use things from Agile learning or from eduScrum in that context, in the more formal education?
In formal education, the smallest things that actually I'm using and I started to using is very, very funny. It's when I'm starting always the lesson, I actually have a menu like a restaurant, you know. And in the menu we have to do, busy, and done. In a to-do list, in a to-do, I have a post-it on the board which says, today guys, we have a video, we have an activity, we have a Quizlet, and we have some news coming up, I don't know, about a major business. And we're discussing where they want to start. Doesn't make any difference what we are starting, but it's giving the chance for me to give them the autonomy, making the things transparent for them to start to see where we are going. And we are moving as a group from one level to the other. And this is the smallest thing you can do it. Any teacher can actually do it in their classroom. Once we finish the videos, for example, and we have a discussion over it, we can actually move from things from to do, from to busy, and then to done. And this is a very visual for the kids to see. I run some lessons. I was using eduScrum to, we have some internal assessments to do. And in order to increase the acquiring of the knowledge, this like individual project that I have to do as a part of final exam, we did this in groups, just to give them the chance to work in groups, to learn from one to the other, and to create an essay, which is very hard. To create an essay as a group is challenging because it requires lots of information, but was enough for them to be able to acquire very fast the knowledge, be able to work together, and also the moment they actually did the real internal assessment was much easier for them to run it. And this was in a eduScrum framework. There are, what else? There are different lessons that I'm starting. It's a matter of inspiration. I'm very flexible within the process. We started the lesson from one word, from grosse, for example, which is coming out from gross profit, and they have to make sure they're paying enough taxes and that they're not actually chased by the officers. And they have to figure out the whole structure of the income statement from zero, and they have to work as in a team, but also as team together to be able to make sure they are paying the right taxes. You're just playing around instead of me giving the whole information. I'm playing that one. Ask three before me. Try to find a solution by yourself. If you didn't find in your team, go to the other team, see what they are finding, because this is what is missing mostly from the education. We still create challenges one against the other. Who is becoming first, who is coming last? But this is not relevant. What is relevant for them to be able to achieve, each of the teams to achieve their objective. And that's why also the information I give with the project were different in terms of numbers, and in a way that it's not about who is finishing first. It's a matter for all of them to reach the right answers.
Bogdan, I something called my attention, and because you mentioned any teacher could do this, right?
Yeah.
And this is the minimum. And I found it like really that's true. So any teacher could have a Kanban board and say, look, these are our to-dos, and this is our column of done. Like even just two columns, to do and done, and that's it. And even one intermediate column where you actually organize or prioritize together with them the things that have to happen in that lesson. Let's say a video, something that they have to read, or whatever you have to information you need to give to them, or so on. But in that step, I see that there is some decision making. So you mentioned that you do the decision making with them, with the students. How do you do it? You do it with voting, with any other way? How do you organize or prioritize the what is happening in one lesson?
I'm sharing that with the kids. It's an open discussion, and it's in terms of involvement. I don't see each one of them involved. Some of them they are really interested to in terms of what they are doing first. Some of them they don't care so much about it. But it's a matter for them to not to push the content, just to invite them to the things. And it's not a matter for them to say we're going to start with this one or start with the other one. It's a matter of it's an invitation instead of me forcing for them to go in a certain direction. And also I'm inviting them. Do you want to discuss something else, or do you have any other issues? It's happening sometimes that, for example, say, Mister, we have a chemistry exam after 2 hours. Okay, we can actually can we do this one in 40 minutes, and maybe the 10 minutes we can actually give it to you to study for the chemistry. We just recognizing their feelings, recognizing the stressors, and giving the chance to sort it out before the story is coming up. Because this is coming up. Because if you don't take that into consideration, the stress is coming up. They tend to read for something else. They're trying to make it. The moment you set up the framework with them, it's it's a different way to work with the students.
Very nice. I also hear that you actually give them, so it's not just that you put the Kanban and say, okay, this is for us
Yeah.
to do today, but you also welcome, like saying, okay, is there anything that comes up from you? So from
Yeah.
the students. Yeah, okay. And then
Yeah.
it's an open conversation, and then it's
Yeah.
more like from your experience that you actually kind of like prioritize what will happen during the moment.
Yeah.
I suppose. Okay. But it could also be perfectly that you decide, okay, let's vote and see how many
Mm-hmm.
people, or let's
Mm-hmm.
use, I don't know, uh, some people decide and some other follow. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
whatever decision
Mm-hmm.
making
Mm-hmm.
process. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So this, have you ever recorded this, Bogdan? Any information like that that we could actually share for, like, you know, like
Mm,
the minimum thing that any teacher could do to to be more inclusive or something like that?
no, I didn't record it. Teachers came up from Minds to see me teaching these ones within the schools. I can consider maybe to do it, but this year anyway, I will have a slightly different approach because I'm changing from one year from the others. Once you are as a teacher, once you are confident with the content, you have more space to play around with students in terms of reinforce their confidence and working with them individually. And that's why I'm planning to in a classroom. I'm planning to use some spaces in a different way, but I'll be able to share once I maybe in January I'll be able to share with you some information. But what you have to understand, because the project I told you about the assessments with the students. I was doing some statistics about it after. There were students who were very happy in terms of the engagement. They were engaged within the process. They were working together on the process, which was making me very happy. But when I look at the end to see if they want to repeat this experience, um, there will be like what to say, um, 6 or 7 of them, they're actually very keen to repeat the experience. And this is mainly because this is like, I don't know, 17, 18 years old. They don't feel so, uh, how do you say, um, easy to work in teams, to share with other people. Some of them, they are keen to work independently, to know what they have to do. In other ways, they need to be instructed, and they feel more comfortable being instructed. It's very hard for them to make this switch. And you see this was also the Agile learning centers with this unschooling process. Uh, Kids, they are waiting for things to happen for them. They're waiting to be spoon feeding and for the information. And the moment you give them freedom, not all of them, they're actually able to feel free to choose to do something in one direction or the other. That's why I said that even though you invite the students, not all of them, they are very keen to go one direction or the other. It's something that it's important to start earlier as a process for them to be able to work in teams, and this is a concerning part for our society. I don't know if this is only but I know also in Germany, in Holland, and also in the US, we have this issue working together to become vulnerable towards the other, because it's something that gives us the chance to create real relationships.
Yeah, that is also something super nice from this type of approaches to education, Agile or eduScrum, and it's the openness for also for our emotions. I mean, really for not only, I mean, for two reasons. One, um, there is the intrinsic motivation, indeed, but there is also kind of like emotional education, and at the same time growth education, growth mind education, because we are for sure learning that making mistakes is part of the learning process. It's not that you are a failure. It's you are failing because you are learning, and you just should continue and not give up, right? And
Yeah.
that is the growth mindset. Like, you haven't learned it yet, but it's yet, like you
Yeah.
will. Um, so that is another point. And then on the other hand, the emotional education. I mean, these are spaces where it's not just about what you're learning, but it's also about who you are and how
Hmm.
do you feel as a person. And vulnerability is part of that type of education too, and that is very essential when we are adults. That's something we have to manage constantly, our emotions, in working in teams, having challenges, all
Hmm.
kind of stuff that we don't learn actually at the school. So it's yeah, that's the other beautiful part of this type of education, Bogdan.
Hmm. True, true. That for intrinsic motivation, I'm really very close to what Desi and Ryan was coming up with the three levels. It's autonomy, competency, and relatedness. And when you actually one of them is missing, you are actually out of the flow, but also you are not within the process. And the beauty of agile education, agile learning centers is coming up in this process of planning. You're planning together, coming up together. You decide what you want to do. That's giving the autonomy. You're building your competency, and you start to do stuff. And then after you're doing, you are checking to see how we can actually improve. It's giving you the opportunity to do this one. And this is giving you to have better actions to achieve your objective, but not as an individual, as a team, as a group together, because you are unique, and as uniqueness as a team, you actually be able to create more within the process. That's why I really like one of the quotes I wanted to share with you today. Is coming out from Henry Ford. Um,
Coming together is a beginning. Staying together is progress, and working together is success. That's super cool. And
yes.
I'm very happy to have you here as a TEDx speaker. I know what this means. You have
Hmm.
achieved already a lot, and I'm very happy, Bogdan, that you accepted to be with us today. Yeah, I don't know if you have any questions to me or to Crisanti.
No,
Um,
there is. I want to share another project that I'm working at this moment.
yeah,
I became also because I'm a business teacher. I also part of as a trainer for playground for entrepreneurs, and we are working for the last 3 months. We are making a playground for teachers, and this game is giving us the opportunity for teachers to come together to be aware about the things they're doing in a classroom, or as a agile facilitator, any of the context, or a trainer, to work together to share your challenges with the teams, to receive feedback from the other member, for other trainers and teachers, and also to have also coaching coming up from during the sessions from the facilitators of the playground for educators. And this is another thing I want to share with you. Most probably somewhere in spring we're gonna have this gonna be available, and I'm sure you're gonna hear more about
Yeah, for sure.
more about this.
Bogdan, and is this a toolkit that you developed together with others?
It's Inge. I don't. It was developing this project Playground for Entrepreneurs. She's from Holland, and she made a framework. She worked. It's a very nice project, and we are making continuation. She's making a continuation mainly with Willy, and this will be available most probably in spring. But I'm working as part of developing team to validate
Yep.
the framework.
And it's for teachers
It's for
specifically?
teachers, trainer, facilitators, the people that are involved in education, which most of us we are involved in an educational process.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. We will
Yeah.
spread it also in our Agile for Collaboration
Yeah,
project
once
and
it's
so on.
done.
No, thank you. I know it was a busy agenda and it was very difficult to get a moment, and I'm super happy with all what we shared today. So